Hi, I'm Dr. Rachel Headley. I'm the founder and senior partner of the Rose Group International. One of the things that we do all the time for clients is we help with transitions. And the way that we do that that's very special that no one else really does is we take a look at how each one of your team members in your organization works in a team environment. And so are you a startup that has a lot of independence? Are you a more traditional company, or perhaps manufacturing or healthcare that tends to have a lot more caregivers, a lot more connectors and stabilizers? And depending on who you are and what kind of organization you have, we get to strategically design ways to get through transitions in a way that is more effective, saves money, keeps your best people, and actually helps you achieve your targets, stay on track, stay productive. The two tools that I'll just tell you very, very briefly about is we use a change transition model and culture types. So we created culture types out of looking at all of the personality profiles and really being dissatisfied with how you can interpret those individual personality traits into a team environment. So I'm an ENTJ in Myers-Briggs world, and I understand what that means for me, but it's really hard to process how to deal with all the 15 other personality types in a huge team. Like it's just too much. So what we did is we took all that information that, starting in the 1920s with Carl Jung's work, and we really looked at developing what does it mean to work in a team, and how does working in a team translate to how you deal with change and implementing new ideas. So we have a change transition model, which I'll flash up on the screen here so you can check it out. It's the really key things that you have to notice about it are there is always a time period where some culture types are going to struggle, and you just have to give them some time. But we have a lot of techniques that you can help get them through that sort of downhill portion of the transition model. And then another thing to keep in mind is if you can get 30% of your people to be excited and engaged in that future, what that future looks like, then the rest will come, and we can explain all about why that is and how you identify those 30% of your people. The other thing is you got to keep the end game in mind. So we have 4 different culture types, and each one of those culture types reacts differently to change. And that's why we've created them, because we really wanted to help you figure out how you can target your messaging, your communication, your rollout, all of those things. There's just so many examples running through my mind. Maybe you're feeling stuck as a team, and you want to just change it up. Maybe you want to become more innovative. Maybe you have new leadership. Maybe you're rolling out new regulation. Maybe you're doing a new product line. There's so many things, and every single one of them has to do with how you strategically roll it out to your team and leverage what they're awesome at, and then also what motivates them, and also understand what might be a fear-based reaction and how we can avoid that too. Rose Group generally is very process-based. I'm a project manager by training and a PhD scientist. My business partner is an organizational psychologist. And so we don't just come in and wave our hands and say, this is what you are, and you're green and you're red, and away we go, and then we just leave you to figure it out. We really commit to you. One of our core values is that we really want to make everybody that goes to your work, goes to their job in your organization, to be excited about going to work. And I know that sounds like pie in the sky kind of goals, but it's possible, and it's exciting and frankly thrilling when we can get everyone pulling in the same direction and excited about what's going on. Our 4 culture types, generally speaking, again, Cliff Notes version, stabilizers tend to be very socially oriented. They love working in a team, and they like a lot of predictability. They're also the sort of the glue that holds your culture together, be it good or bad. The organizers among us love to create order from chaos. They don't mind being out on their own, but they do like predictability more than some of the other types. Our fixers love a little freedom. They're the problem solvers. They're the ones that look at a problem and say, we don't have to do these 3 steps. We can go from A to G if we do it this way. And they love fixing things. And so there are fixers, and they really tend to be driven by social and team. They love working in a team. Our independents, on the other hand, they're the ones that are always looking for a more fulfilling life, for doing things differently, shaking things up. A lot of them are even very proud that they're kind of the rebel, the black sheep in their organizations, or a lot of them actually become business owners because they prefer to work in a much more dynamic environment than most of us end up working in. So once you understand who's on your team and who fits where, then we can really start working together about how we develop your team in a way that makes the most sense. It's going to really supercharge what you're trying to do. We really want to unleash your team in a way that will blow your mind. So we increase retention, we connect culture with process, with deliverables, with revenue, with cost. We really tie all those things very tightly together so that you understand that very tight link across everybody. And even though a lot of us understand that having trust and accountability and all of those exciting pieces of great leadership, all of those get embedded in the culture that you want to develop. And that's what creates these incredibly high-performing teams that go on to do amazing things. I mean, I've seen teams exceed the most aspirational goals of their leadership. It's thrilling to see. So what we do is we come in, we help you assess where you're at, because frankly, a lot of times behaviors aren't really reflective of what's going on until you dig a little deeper. For instance, I went into an organization that thought they had a scheduling problem, and it turns out they just had an organizational challenge that was preventing things from getting done on time. And so we are all about fixing the root cause. We don't want to fix symptoms. We want to fix the root cause. So we're all about the root cause. We identify that with you in conjunction with the CEO or the leadership of the team. And then we like to do all hands meetings so everyone feels engaged and connected. We do a lot of surveys. We do this culture assessment for every single person on your team. We look at your team as a whole, and then we design and execute a strategy around what do you need. It's custom designed for you. Between my business partner and I, the two senior partners, we have a huge range of expertise from IT systems to science to HR to organizational development to accountability training. We do basic supervisory level accountability training that includes a whole huge amounts of skill sets and tools, because we really want to change how your organization does business forever for the better. And so we commit to a minimum of 6 months. We come in pretty intensely at first, and then we start building that training over time. So we don't come in and we're not there all the time. We come in once a month for an afternoon, and we work with everybody to build skills on top of each other as we move forward. So it's much more of a coaching model than a corporate training model, because we understand that it takes time to take in and behave in a way that changes that are going to stick. The last thing we want to do is come in, work with you for a few months, leave, and then it goes back to the way it always was. So we prefer to work with you for at least a year. And a lot of our organizations that are bigger, we stay for 18 months. But again, it's monthly in person, and then we do bi-weekly meetings via video, or for a key group of people that it's almost a group coaching style. And then we can also be sort of reached at will by the point of contact, or for troubleshooting or any other challenges that may arise over that time frame. So that's sort of how we go about doing business. And it's we talked about sacred cows. We don't let things slide that need addressing. And I tell you, it's really, I can't even think of the word, but it is the energy in the room changes when you address an issue that everyone has been afraid to talk about, practically and in a positive way. There was one organization I worked for that this person was mad at this person for 3 years, and they could not resolve the issue. And we came in and we're like, what is going on here? But because this gentleman was a certain culture type and this gentleman was a totally opposite culture type, they were communicating, but they weren't listening. or they were talking maybe but weren't communicating. It's a better way to think of it. And so what we did is we just started addressing the issue in each of their languages. So we tend to become translators between everybody to make sure that the message that's coming through is what's intended. And I tell you, from one day to the next, that organization changed like that. It was incredible. And we've been staying in touch with them. That was a board retreat. We've been staying in touch with them, and that's all sticking, and it's been going incredibly well. So the way that we do business, it really works. It provides long-term change and value, and we're just really excited to come to your organization and help you start down this path of just everyone being delighted to see each other in the morning. So thanks so much. It was great chatting with you. I know this is even longer than I intended, but there's just so much good, juicy stuff to share with you and to be excited about. So thanks so much, and hopefully I'll be seeing you soon.